What's up, homies? Let's go further into dirt bike motors and talk about what do the pros do? How many motors do the pros have? I've had some friends that were on factory motocross teams. I see about 3 or 4 bikes in their garage, and you'll get about 3 motors to rotate. It's really how it goes. You go out there racing, and the motor that you raced gets rebuilt that night, and then the next morning you got a new motor, hopefully. It depends. Some people do bring their motor builders closer to them so that they can get a motor rebuilt at any time. I know a guy that rebuilds motors at the race, in between races. So it's possible that every single race you get your motor rebuilt. And yeah, rebuilt, what does that mean? There's a top end and a bottom end to the motor. The bottom end is more robust, so not a lot of people always rebuild the bottom end. Sometimes they'll just rebuild the top end, which would mean, changing the seals on the heads, changing the piston rings and the piston itself. A lot of people don't do that much to the motor. You tear it apart and you put it back together. And that's really how it should be. If you took care of your shit and you just ran a stock motor, you'd be a lot better off than if you had a built motor that was just throwing parts all the time. Trust me, it's heartbreaking when you build your motor up and you get way above everybody else and then your valve spring breaks on the final lap. This happens. People push their dirt bikes real hard, and these bikes cannot take it. They're like, man, I want it built, bored out more and more and more and more. Okay, your bore of your engine is going out into the air of the atmosphere here. There's only so much metal inside of your cylinder block before it starts getting paper thin. And yeah, the heat's going to go all over the place. There's no heat transfer going into the metal if you took all the metal out. A lot of these things were designed with engineering in mind. So what you're doing by modifying a dirt bike motor in any way is saying screw all the engineering that Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki put in all those hundreds of hours into research and development, because I know better. And yes, some people do know better, but for how long? It sacrifices reliability to gain horsepower. And I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus here like Honda, but you start modifying them and they become ticking time bombs. And hey, those Honda engines really are a lot more race designed. But those Yamaha people will be like, I don't have to rebuild my stuff all the time. I'm fine like this. I don't even, the whole season. Okay. Your shit didn't blow up. You're losing power after about 50 to 100 hours on the top end. And that doesn't mean a lot to people when they can still ride pretty good. It's about being a good rider and being smooth on the throttle. Taking decent lines and making the correct moves during the race are a lot more critical than, well, I had that extra this on the very last lap. Yeah, people really are looking for that very microscopic edge. And they are going to blow their shit up and pay about $1,000 per race to show you up. Someone has the money to be that jerk off.